And now, Bottom Split Theatre.
Good evening and welcome to another presentation of Bottom Split Theater. I'm your host tonight, Michael Derby. Our announcers tonight are going to join me right now, Alex Albert and David Haynes. How are we doing tonight, guys?
Oh, doing great. Thanks for having us.
Pleasure to be here. Looking forward to some good racing tonight.
All right, go ahead and take it away.
All right, so we're here at the USA International Speedway in Lakeland, Florida, for some rookie street stock action. So it won't just be rookies in the field. We do have some D-class guys, but this is the learning grounds, the stomping grounds that everyone has to go through when they come to the service. So this is the proving ground. This is Bottom Split Theater. This is where the Stars of Tomorrow first start, and so you'll get your first eyes on them here. So, David Haynes, why don't you take me through the field?
Well, qualifying has now wrapped up, and they are gridding. So, on pole position, that is Jonathan Mello with a good gap over second place. Emily Boyles, our first female in the field. Then it's Daniel Marino, Whitney Mega, Arn Liu, Michael Mueller, Mike Lewis, Gregory Payne, Christopher Salmon, and rounding out your top 10, Delaney Calhoun.
And then the rest of the cars are Gideon Keeling in 11th. And then the other cars did not qualify, so not sure their exact gridding order, but it'll be Richie Morocco, Justin Johnson, Nicholas Priest, and Bill Nowicki. The cars are now underway. So,
yes,
there is the contact. Oh, we didn't even have time to bet the dollar, and there was the contact. The one in the back of the 15, as is tradition here in Bottom Split Theater. Contact under the yellow flag. So got that out of the way early.
Indeed, 2 pace laps here at this shorter circuit before we go green. So not this time around, but the next, our lead will be seeing the green flag, and this 40-lap race will get underway.
All right, so did any of these drivers impress you? I know you were down there in the pits during qualifications and practice, talking to some of the crews. Is there anyone you've got your eye on this week?
Well, with the dominance of that time from our pole sitter, Jonathan Mello, we know that there's pace there. I don't know, anything could happen in 40 laps, and we don't know how well he might look after his tires. I'm thinking Michael Mueller to investigate getting some more positions during this race.
Well, I thought you were going to go with Jonathan Mello racing out of the Brazil Club, and which I think would have been a good pick. I think that's a little too easy, though, so I think I'm going to go with the female driver, Whitney Major. They're in the 4th starting position coming out of the Georgia Club. Still a rookie, but a 4-digit I rating, which is something here in Bottom Split Theater. So the pace car is off. They're under control of our pole sitter, and the green is out.
He plants the throttle, gets a good jump.
4 wide, and the one car making moves. They're on lap 1. Oh, the 2 got into the 13, spun him around. The 2's able to continue on. The 13 is not actually.
Oh, that's Gideon Keeling making contact. Gideon Keeling making contact with the inside wall.
Oh, and now the 1 car is coming to the pit road. I have to believe that might be a penalty for a jump start. Delaney Calhoun. Jonathan Mello starting to stretch it out here. Good racing at the front. The 10 trying to not let him get away. We got some side-by-side action. Back in the back. Oh, and the 8 turns the 14 into the wall. Oh, and the 5 never lifts.
I have to say that was
patented
number
method.
14. Mike Lewis just went up high while there was still a car on the outside and turned himself.
Oh, the action never stops here. I don't know. You're going to have to, the control room's got to tell me where we're at with these replays, but the 4 and the 6 just got into each other. And the 13 is on the radio to his crew with a big Whiskey Tango Foxtrot on L1. Oh, and I hear crashes. Oh, is that who's stuck in the wall? That's Michael Mueller, your pick for tonight's win. Michael Mueller, The only thing he was investigating was the density of that concrete. The 14, it looks like it just drove him right into the wall. Hate to see that, but yeah, that might have been on purpose there. What do you think, Haynes?
I didn't get a good enough look, but I think this short track, we didn't name it at the top of the program, but it was always going to lead to some very closely contested racing. And
we didn't name it.
Some bruised cars, some bruised egos out there as well, maybe.
This USA International Speedway from Lakeland. I thought I'd let everyone know about that right off the top. But if I didn't, there it is again for you. The 4 making a good move. Let's check that out with the 6 and the 8 here. This is probably our best battle. Whitney Major, that I was telling you about in the pre-race, really impressing me as the leader's starting to walk away. We got a great battle here. The 4 car looking inside the 6. Woo, hold it down there as the 8 looks on.
That's Daniel Moreno on the inside of Whitney Major. I think he's got that move done, but now the number 8 might look to get underneath there. That low line looking relatively quick so far right now.
You can see these drivers are, they've been around, done a few of these races. They know they have to keep it clean if they're going to get out of the rookies and get up to the big boy ranks. So the 6 now starting to walk away from the 8, keeping the pressure on the 4. Daniel Moreno trying to keep it tidy here early in the race. Woo! 6 with a big ride there.
Flapper from Whitney there.
Yeah, Whitney, she's I was going to say a rodeo rider, the way she was slipping and sliding there. The 4 car has almost parked it on the apex. That's not a tactic we typically see in oval racing.
Maybe carrying too much pace into the corners there, drifting up wide once again, and loses that position.
Wow.
So An Lu makes the position there, getting a bit wiggly as well. It might be a bit hot out there today. Definitely some of these drivers are getting hot under the collar.
For sure. Out front, we still have our Jonathan Mello, your leader from Brazil. He's the fastest car on the track right now. Behind him, about 1.7 seconds in growing, is Emily Boyles, a second female in the field with a very strong showing. Emily is an up-and-comer I'm sure you'll hear more about in the coming years. A little bit further back there, past the lap traffic, is this 3-car battle. This is the last step on the podium. Right now, Daniel Moreno occupies it. Looking on is the 8 of An Lu. Sorry. And now we see Whitney having a look. Oh, and Whitney with a bit of a door scrape there. I have to believe that was maybe a 0X. Probably not a 2, but the 8's coming back to say, anything you can do, I can do better.
Yeah, Whitney looks to the inside, but couldn't keep it on the low line. Not going to get the pass done like that. Definitely not going to get it done cleanly. They're racing closely once again.
I'll make sure you're live to this battle. As I saw the 6 get into the bumper of the 8 going into turn 3. Woo! And that allowed the 4 to get away. So let's walk back through here through the field. Let's watch this Whitney Major here. Is An Lu going to be able to come back? I'm not sure. Farther back, we have Gregory Payne running in 6th, just kind of running by himself right now. Gideon Keeling. We got a lot of cars still on track. Most of the field, we had a few retirements early on, but most everyone's going to see this thing through. Oh, as our 9 car gets in the wall right in front of the leader, but smartly gives plenty of room up out of the way. So where's our best battle is probably with Whitney.
Yeah, 4th and 5th there. Whitney Major and An Lu. A lot of pace from Whitney, but sliding up high in some of the corners. Anlu holding the low line, gets his nose very close to her bumper. Seeing a bit of to and fro with a different pace through the corners and different runs off the corners. It's rather a paperclip shaped track here. Some tight corners, longish straights. Really emphasizes the strength on the brakes and turn in through the corners, but also getting a good run off these tight corners.
Whoa, there goes the 6 around all by herself. Yeah.
I say the run off the corners and gets very loose on the exit there.
And she must not have been listening to her spotter there. She just turned right into traffic. Got hit by the 15, blew up the 15's motor, ruined his chance at a good day. Gideon Payne, I'm sure, is going to be really upset with the youngin there. Whitney Major from the Georgia Club. Oh, well, let's see. This might get exciting here. Is the 15 going to let the 6 know? Nope. 15 just pulls down out of the way, keeps the oil off the racing groove. The leader's coming through. All right, there's your leader. Mello. He is nice and mellow out front here. Trying to stretch it out to about 4 seconds.
No doubt, very consistent laps from Jonathan Mello, just keeping on, slowly extending that gap over Emily Boyles. Daniel Marino was involved in the battle earlier, but now he's looking a bit more comfortable in third place.
So we'll be at halfway to go next time by. Do you think Emily Boyles can close that gap down? It's 4 seconds back, but she was a 10th faster last lap.
She was a 25.2 last lap around. I think some of that's got to do with they're encountering a bit more traffic, a few more lapped cars now. Ooh. I think Mello's been pretty consistent. He might have this.
What's going on?
Whitney Major's on the side of the blown engine, now being towed back into the pits. That was our 5th place runner, is now potentially out of contention for this race.
Well, that's what happens when sometimes if you mess with the bull, you get the horns. All right, let's ride on board with the leader.
Well, we just rode on board there with Jonathan Mello as he got past another lapped car, the number 2.
He's really giving us a ride, you know. That's something, that was really a $50 ride. If Richard Petty driving experience to ride along, that would probably cost you $50. I had a fun time there. Oh, and as we see the 2 car get in a little too deep there, sliding it up the track.
We see that's one of the things that's separating our better drivers from the lesser drivers, is how well they can get it down into the corner and keep that grip on the low line. Jonathan Mello showing us mostly how it's done, extending his gap for the lead out to almost 6 seconds over Emily Boyles, and then Daniel Moreno still in third place. So those podium positions haven't changed in a few laps.
No, I think the best battle on the track is going to be for Daniel Moreno and Anlu. Anlu has the pace advantage right now. I was worried that he might have burned off his tires battling earlier with Whitney, but it looks like he's been patient and saved something. Now just about a half a second back. Or maybe
now,
a
I'm
second
seeing
now.
the police livery on that car for Anlu. He's maybe trying to put an arrest on Daniel Moreno's attempt at a podium.
Well, we're going to be coming to 13 to go this time by. I think there's plenty of time to see some more side-by-side racing here. I'm sure
bad boys. What are they going to do? Daniel Moreno isn't going to pull over and give away that podium chance.
Well, I hope we don't see a pit maneuver like you sometimes see on cops.
Yeah, that would be a bit dirty racing. I hope Anlu can make a clean pass, give us some good racing with 12 laps to go now.
Oh. This is the best race we've got, folks. Other than this, we have the leader hot lapping at the front, walking away by about 4/10 a lap. I'm pulling for Anlu because I want to see some side-by-side action here coming to the line. It's nothing I love more than some short track, battle it out, elbows out, rubbing shoulders.
I think Daniel Moreno has been too comfortable in third place for too long. I'm cheering for Anlu. He's brought that gap down just a little bit. Was a second previous couple laps. Now he's pulled 2/10 back on the gap on that last lap and looks, just from my eyes, to be getting a bit closer, bit racier.
Oh, for sure, for sure. The stopwatch doesn't lie, and neither do your eyes. He's getting there, and he's getting there fast. Really strong entry there. And his exit speed, I think he's just fast. Oh, and the 4, well, the 4 for good reason stood on the brakes. The 8 didn't know it, and that's the 10 they just went by. So now the 4 car is in second. Not sure what happened there. Maybe the booth can go back and take a look. Let's see what happened leading up to that with the 10 and the 2.
Yeah, so the way I saw it, our previous.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
that was our second place runner at the time, getting.
Yeah. Let's go back live though. We've got a great battle here. Oh! The 8 just got a big wiggle.
Second, but then Daniel Moreno takes it back, and Emily Boyles. Oh, wow!
Oh man! The 4 got on the brakes.
Into the wall.
Right, yeah, the 4 got on the brakes hard. Anlu couldn't match the braking pace. Slowed down. The 10 having nowhere to go. He was on the brakes, but not hard enough. And just squeezed. It was just, Anlu was like a banana out of the wrapper. Just whoosh, squeezed him right out into the wall. Oh, and the 10's having none of it. 10 is going to put the 4 in the wall, too. He said,
I tell you what, I ran up front.
I ran up front all night, and by God, I'm finishing up there.
Yeah, that's Emily Boyles, second place, losing it due to a back marker. Not happy with it. The wrecked becomes the wrecker, pulling out everything to move Anlu and Daniel Moreno out of the way to get that second place back.
Yeah, I think she was just in too big a hurry there. She went ahead and ruined Anlu's night when, you know, you could have been a little bit more patient. Maybe it was a mistake, but I feel like could have gave a little bit more space in that instance. But the deal there with the 4, I thought that was pretty good short track racing. That's what I like to see. Gave him a little nudge, worked him up the groove, and got by. The 4 car starting to look a little worse for the wear, getting into the wall there, coming off 4. I believe I'm live.
So all of that action and our podium positions are back exactly where they were. It's Jonathan Mello out front leading, but now an even bigger gap after that drama for Emily Boyles and Daniel Moreno. And
Jonathan Mello is trying to lap him. We've never seen that. We've seen all but one. We've seen all but one almost lap the field.
Yeah, looking at the gap there, Jonathan Mello about 6 seconds back from lapping second place.
It could happen here with a little bit of trouble.
Well, we've seen Emily Boyles doesn't mind.
Oh, and the 6 is on the front stretch. 6 is looking. Oh, and the 6 is going to turn it around right in front of our leader. Here we go, front stretch. Oh, she gets going. All right, now we're with Jonathan Mello. Mello, yellow in the blue car, number 3 from Brazil. Coming around one more time out of turn 2 into turn 3, hard on the binders, pulling it all the way down to the line.
And you'll see the checkered flag this time right now. I have to say, pretty
That's our
commanding
winner.
drive.
Yep, that's your winner. Oh, and so let's go to the second place battle. Now it's changed. Daniel Moreno is now in second, and Emily Boyles has got a blown motor. Emily got ran into.
Well, Anlu
Take a
gets
look at
back
it.
through. I think he goes up some positions.
Oh, no, that was the 6. That was Whitney Mayer. Just took out Jonathan Mello. Wow, I'm not sure what that was for. Wasn't... Wow, that was really pretty classless. That was very unsporting of Whitney Major. I'd like to retract my earlier endorsement of her, and yeah, I hate to see that happening here in Bottom Split Theater, but hopefully she learned something from it here earlier in her career and move on to bigger and better things. So
if I can, I'll run down our finishing order now. So out front from pole, all race, pretty clean. Good job by our winner, Jonathan Mello. Behind him for everyone else, though, it was action. Taking second place and gaining one position from his starting spot, Daniel Moreno manages to get second place. Emily Boyles ran in second for a lot of the race, but some tangles put her back into third. Gregory Payne, we didn't speak much about, but manages to slip into fourth place. Anlu running very well, but then troubles, pits for some repairs, comes back out, manages fifth place. Sixth, Michael Mueller. Seventh, Delaney Calhoun. Eighth, Whitney Major. We might have to go to the steward's office after this, we'll see. And then Christopher Salmon, and rounding out our top 10, Gideon Keeling.
Well, I feel like it was a good night all around. Plenty of excitement on the track. So I hope everyone enjoyed the show. And just a reminder, tonight is a triple header. We will be at the dirt track next. So just stay tuned. Just a few minutes. Next round. See you then.
See you all after the break.
Shut up and sit down.
All right, everybody, welcome back to our triple header in Bottom Split Theater. Our second race of the evening is a dirt stock street series at Lanier National Speedway. It's a 20-lap race. I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to your announcers for tonight, Alex Albert and David Haynes. Take it away, guys.
Hey, thanks, Michael Derby. I'm Alex Albert. With me, David Haynes. David, say hello.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. More exciting racing coming up for you in 1 minute.
Yeah, hands off the console, mate. Shaking that mic too much. All right, so I'll take you from the top here. We got qualifying. Our pole sitter, that is no way an indication of his sexual preference, is the number 1 car, Lawrence Kirkham. In the second position will be Will Pope. In the third position, Wesley Barrett. In the fourth position would be Cody Schroeder. Following him would be Michael Miller and Jacob Miller, the Miller brothers, on the third row. Andrew Wagner and Larry Wheaton Jr. will be our fourth row, with Derek Butler rounding out our field in ninth position. But with these small fields,
I can't find Derek Butler. I don't think he's made it to the grid. So it's just 8 cars for this race, but 20 laps. This will be action-packed.
Yep. Hearing had a problem with his pedals and not going to be able to make the race. So if anyone was going to have problems with their pedals, I thought it would be someone named Barrett, but it turns out it was someone named Butler, and Miller's got a ping that, well, I guess only words could describe. It's all over 1,000, and that's not a good thing. So let's keep an eye on the ping of the 6. Looks like it's time to go green. The pace truck's in. Here they go. They're off.
Yeah, I can't find Lawrence Kirkham on track either. So our leaders out front right now is, I think that's...
Look at the Pope machine. Or is that the 9? Wesley Barrett with the, you know, whose pedals are working fine.
Yeah, Wesley Barrett leads from Will Pope right now.
That's 2 positions up from where he started. Nice gains here. Seeing some disconnects. Not sure what's going on here with this race, but the 9 car looking to stretch it out. Nice line there. As
Wesley Barrett from the Mid-South leads ahead of Will Pope from Midwest. I think Wesley's taking a lower line through the corners and Will's going higher to try and find some grip, but it looks like it's working for Wes right now. The lower line looking pretty quick early.
Big movers. Andrew Wagner up 4 positions. One of the fastest car on the track. Now the pole sitter back, or well, not our pole sitter, our leader, Wesley Barrett, back to taking command of the fastest lap of the day by a half a tenth or a half a second. Wow, really seeing a lot of network issues here in this race. I've now lost Pope.
Yep. No white smoke out of the chimney. We do not have a Pope yet.
So Wesley Barrett is our leader. The best race on the track right now. Andrew Wagner, Jacob Miller, second and third. So they're coming to 13 to go, 14 to go this time. These races are pretty short, only 20 laps. You really got to get it done. No time to settle in. I'm sure that the 5 cars is trying to find where he's faster than 4 and trying to make his way by.
And it's not up high there. He got a bit bogged down. So that's the 4 and 5 cars there. We got Andrew Wagner in the white and orange, and Jacob Miller in the sort of grey and orange. And like you say, they've got to be very quick in finding where the grip is around this dirt track.
I thought the 4 was going to walk away, but then just as I was about to tell you that, the 5's able to close it back down again. So I think that's just part of learning the ropes here in the dirt. These guys don't lack speed. They just lack consistency.
Yeah, Jacob Miller, the younger Miller, going a tenth quicker on that last lap, but now going 2/10 slower on that one. That's the nature of dirt racing. It's just sort of to and fro, difficult to find where the grip is because it moves every lap.
Yeah, Andrew Wagner, the fastest car on the track right now, even faster than the leader. I don't think he's going to have time to run him down, but anything is possible here.
Yeah, that lead for Wesley Barrett currently sitting at just over 3 seconds, and then about 1.5 seconds back from Andrew Wagner to Jacob Miller, the younger brother, the Miller Light.
Oh.
And I hear Will Pope's down in the pit lane, and he's not happy about what's happened to his race. He's just sort of taken out of it through no fault of his own by car troubles or network problems.
Yeah, Will, looking for someone to commiserate with. He's going to go out and get some laps, try to gather up some safety rating. Maybe someone will drop out. Anything could happen here. He's 7 laps down as we speak. But Wesley Barrett working past the lap traffic now of Larry Wheaton Jr. That's a good short track name. LWJ making plenty of room for our leader, Wesley Barrett, who has no problems with his pedals. Hot on the go fast pedal down the front stretch with a big slide there through turns 1 and 2. The chase is on back though with 2nd and 3rd. Andrew Wagner giving chase. Now he's got that gap down under 3 seconds, but I think he's going to have to close it down a little quicker than he is with only 5 to go. And Lawrence Kirkham, the one car, has been able to reconnect after getting the boot early in the race. Good to see him persevere, try to get back out here, get some positions. He'll get 1 or 2.
And Will Pope also back out there as well, but well down a couple of laps off the lead.
Yeah, so it's starting to look
nearly
like the
8 laps
4
behind.
car is going to be able to. Wagner, I think, is going to be able to stay ahead of Miller. Miller's just not able to close it down. He's starting to fall a little farther back. Miller's sliding up through the groove, it looks like. Maybe just getting in a little too hard there, The 4 seems to have a more controlled. Oh, and as the 7 has trouble right in front of the 4 car while we were talking about him, Larry Wheaton Jr. Good thing our 2nd place runner was able to avoid that. All right, here we go. Let's go back to our leader as he takes the white flag one more time around the 4/10 mile Clay Speedway here in Georgia. Wesley Barrett.
Yeah, very
High, wide,
controlled
and
race
handsome.
from him. Found the right lines, managed to keep it clean, maybe didn't go in too deep, and that's a win for him. Congratulations, Wesley Barrett.
Andrew Wagner coming across the line. Followed closely by Jacob Miller. And then there's Larry Wheaton Jr. Mr.
Will
Pope
Pope
also
managed
running
to-
at the finish, and Mr. Kirkham.
Yeah, so running down again, our top 5 there was Wesley Barrett, Andrew Wagner, Jacob Miller, Larry Wheaton Jr., and Will Pope. But I think I'm only seeing 3 cars that finished on the lead lap there, and that was our podium of Barrett, Wagner, and Miller Light.
Yep, that's what I'm seeing as well. But that's sometimes what we see here in Bottom Split Theater.
We got
Oh,
a variety of skill levels and
opinions.
it's
Hearing
awesome
some
talent.
opinions from some of the drivers about the connections issues. Let's just say they weren't the best opinion about it right now. But hopefully they exit right away and go ahead and sign up for our next race, which is going to go off at the top of the hour, and that is the Global Mazda Series. So hope to see you all from the Jefferson Circuit in West Virginia at the Summit Point Raceway Complex. So until then, I'm Alex Albert. That's my partner, David Haynes. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Shut up and sit down.
Welcome back, everybody. This is the third race in tonight's presentation of Bottom Split Theater. We've got a Global Mazda MX-5 Cup race here at Summit Point, USA, the Jefferson Circuit, Summit Point, USA. Summit Point on the Jefferson Circuit. We've got a 15-lap race. I'll go ahead and toss it back over to your announcers, Alex Albert and David Haynes. Take it away, guys.
Thanks, Michael. How you doing, David? You ready for another exciting race?
This is shaping up to be good, and I'm really excited for this.
So we're here in my home state of West Virginia at the Jefferson Circuit, which is part of the Summit Point Raceway Park. As we see the cars start to file onto the grid, let's go ahead and run down through this. I'll take us through the starting order. On pole, we have Heather Morgan. Starting next to her will be Marcus Zago. Then we have Daniel Diaz, Eric Reichert. On the third row will be Joseph White and Jeff Steffi. Then Nicholas Salmaron, Leland Warner, and Cecil Amarelli. So we have just been watching these drivers in qualifying. We've seen quite a few interesting lines. It looks like there's a large pace differential from front to rear. Anyone you got your eye on here? As we got about a minute till the lights will come on. Let's keep an eye in case they go on early.
Well, good qualifying performance from Heather Morgan, but I think someone like Nicholas Salmaron or Jay Steffi who didn't have a qualifying lap recorded could come through from the back and gain some positions.
All right, so I can see one empty spot here on the grid. Looks like that would be for sixth position. That would be Nicholas Salmaron out of the Texas Club. He's on the grid. Expect the lights soon. Engines up. And there's the flag.
Great jump by third place Daniel Diaz, makes it side by side with Marcus Zago, and they make contact. Wow, both managed to almost keep it going. Contact again, but it looks like Marcus might hold on to that position, nearly 3 wide behind them.
And some interesting battles here at the back of the field. Oh, is traffic off the road. Cecil making contact with this orange car, the 5.
And
oh yes, and Diaz all over the bumper of the 3. Oh, and Zago did what was smart and just pulled out of the way and let Diaz go by.
And they banged doors again. Wow, that is ferocious. I didn't know that much was at stake today. Contact again for Marcus Zago, and again, what on earth? That is a very rough first lap, but everyone giving it everything, leaving nothing, no undented panels on their cars.
I see some cars going down the pit road here. Is he going to stop? All right. Well, out front, your leader, Heather Morgan, she continues to stretch out her advantage with all the chaos. Whoa, speaking of chaos, there goes Heather Morgan into the trees, up the bank, down the bank, back towards the track there.
Grass on the exit of the corner there, got very wiggly. I think managed to avoid any damage back on the circuit, but has lost that lead to Daniel Diaz, who now leads. Heather Morgan is still close behind, though, and third place, Leyland Warner, is up quite a few spots from his starting grid, maybe just avoiding the chaos.
It doesn't look like Leyland Warner has avoided much. Maybe he avoided the chaos, but he didn't avoid the contact. His fenders are used up. Along with Zago's car, Salmaron, who was not able to get a clean lap, does now have a clean car working here on the beginning of lap 3 back in 5th position. Let's go ahead and ride along with the 5 car, see if he can make a move here on Zago. Looks like Zago's starting to fall back. As you can see, that's a fast right-hander up the hill. Looks like Zago kind of gets away, but he gets out there in the gravels where we earlier saw Heather Morgan get loose. This section here is very tough. You're braking, slowing, turning all at once. So as we see up ahead, a car off. That's Leland Warner. This is going to get spicy here. 3 wide in a moment, I expect. We have a perfect camera car look. As Nicholas being patient. Nicholas sitting back there. He could have closed that gap. But he knows it's a little too dangerous. You don't need to... Sometimes you don't need to fight fire with fire. And there it is, folks. He saw it coming. We all saw it coming. The 3 and the 7 make contact into the first turn. Whoa! Nicholas going to the grass to give extra space. I think they caught him out a bit there. All right. Let's see. What do we have any other good battles?
Sales of Mazda MX-5 parts are gonna go up after this race. Fortunately, there's no points for Pretty. Otherwise, you and I would be winning this, Alex.
But Daniel Diaz out front, you know, in his car, it's got a few bumps and bruises on it, but not as bad as I thought it would look after some of those moves on the first lap. Heather Morgan, though, with the pace. Heather Morgan, a half a second quicker that time, starting to close in. Next time by, it'll be 11 to go.
Diaz, 2 wheels on the dirt on the outside. Manages to get it through. That's going to compromise his run. Heather goes to the right-hand side. That's the inside for the next corner. Got the move done before the braking zone. And
will Max Diaz dive in and make a move? No.
Behind them, Jay Steffi, who's a lap down but showing good pace after having to pit on the first lap, get some repairs. So we wonder what his race could have been.
And there we go, our leader spinning the 8 car, and she goes back on to the track a little prematurely, gets into the second place car. Oh, and now she's in the woods. That's a force.
Drops off the edge of the world. Diaz can't control it on the grass. He's losing a lot of time. Where is our second place?
The battle, here it comes. Second and third are about 4 seconds back.
And they make contact. I think Leyland Warner hit his incident limit there. I think the stewards have said, that's too much bumping and barging. You're out, mate. So, wow, that leaves Daniel Diaz in the lead and Nicholas Salmeron.
In 5 laps.
Made easy for him.
In 5 laps, which would be 5.5 miles around here. In 5.5 miles, he managed to get himself disqualified from a race. That's very efficient. This is a tricky course. As you see, Nicholas Salmeron going off track in his chase for our leader, Daniel Diaz, who's now out front. Diaz not holding anything back, continuing to push as hard as he can. Jay Steffi's been able to get back on the lead lap. He set off chase towards, he'll get Leland Werner here just because Leland's not in the race anymore.
Yeah, so Steffi with a clean car now gets back on the lead lap as contact is made between the leaders. That puts him back up into 3rd place. I'll tell you this. Previous lap
he'll
around...
get Morgan next time.
Diaz did a 1 minute 4 second lap and his best is 56 seconds. Not a clean lap. We've got to see some of these drivers knuckle down if they want a good result.
Yeah, very high attrition. And speaking of... I thought we were going to get to see another spin there with the 6 car. It's typical for us to see a bit of attrition, but I have to say, I think this week, more so than normal, the Jefferson circuit reverse has proved just a bit too challenging for this field.
I think it's because it's a tight track. It's got a lot of corners with sort of rising, descending crests, corners that tighten, and that really catches out some of our rookies, is that they struggle to, they run off wide and they can't manage to get to the apex of these ever-tightening corners. Well, our former leader, Heather Morgan, has left the pits, is back out on track. I'm seeing her in 5th place, is that right?
Yeah, and showing little regard for track limits. She will go the way of Leland Warner. These stewards at iRacing do not joke around. Whenever they give you 17 incidents, they mean 16, not 18, not even 17. So she cannot continue to drive through the gravel lap after lap and finish this race. But our leader, Daniel Diaz, is 8 seconds out in front of Nicholas Salmeron. Nicholas Salmeron, one of those drivers, had a little bit of trouble in qualifying, but decided to start from the back with the safety plan. He's had a couple minor problems. Went off to when he kind of got spooked, a couple of other cars crashing, but not much damage. And overall, good race for him. Third place will be Jay Steffi. He's on the tail end of this lead lap, but Jay with another alternate strategy driving through the field here. But one thing Jay won't have to do after this race is buy a new car. These other guys are just wearing them out.
Yeah, those other guys will hope they're part of the Mazda Speed competition program, getting some discounts on some bumpers, fenders, probably transmissions, just about everything that you can abuse by banging the car against trees, running over the gravel, banging into other drivers. If it's on the car, they've tried to dent it. Probably some new mirrors going to be required for these cars. Who knows?
So the good news is for our runners here, as we come to 6, or just as we'll be coming to 5 to go this time, sorry, is that everyone that's still running is going to get a top 5. Bad news is that we've had so much attrition that at just the 2/3 point, over half our field's gone.
I tell you what, I'm admiring Jay Steffi's strategy for this race, though. Get heavily involved in some contact on the first lap, put it into the pits, get it all fixed up, come out in some clean air, and avoid the chaos that continued to unfold, particularly with Heather Morgan and some others, their chaos. And Jay Steffi managed to avoid everything after the first lap, and now finds himself in 3rd. How good's that?
That's pretty good. I just saw Daniel Diaz maybe a moment ago there with the small off into the gravel, but he's got a big lead, so he's able to continue as our leader. Just shows how tricky this course is and that he's not giving up anything. He is looking to show off for the scouts, for the sponsors, all the way to the end, even though he's got a big lead. Nicholas Salmeron closing that gap down 1.3 seconds faster last lap. So I mentioned that mistake. He capitalized on it. Here into the fast right-hander, Nicholas Salmeron racing out of Texas.
And this is one of those corners we've seen catch them out, because there's a wide first section to the corner and then it really tightens up and you can get tricked into taking too much speed. I think we saw Heather Morgan take too much speed in, lose the rear, and then come across the grass again. Daniel Diaz, 2 wheels on the dirt, exiting the final corner. He'll have 4 laps to go as he passes the line here. But these corners, they can catch you out if you're not careful, or if you can get in over your head, they'll catch you out.
Yeah, and that set of corners back there, unlike, a lot of corners, there's a firm consensus on what the racing line is. That little section through there, I see drivers taking different lines. It doesn't seem to be a solid consensus on what is the perfect line through that string there.
And maybe that's been the cause of some of the contact we've seen, is that the driver behind it isn't expecting or anticipating what the driver ahead's going to do, and they come together because someone else has taken a different line.
Yeah, so everyone's pretty spread out here. I think Heather Morgan working on Reichert. She might be able to get there. About 3.5 laps to go. She's about 3.5 seconds back, so maybe. Reichert feeling the pressure, running wide here into the tricky bit.
Heather Morgan was 2.5 seconds faster than Eric Reichert on the last lap from my numbers. So if she can keep it clean, there's an opportunity there. Don't go in over your head, and take it more cautiously now, having been off into the woods and taken the long way back to the pit lane and then getting back out on track.
Heather Morgan racing out of the California Club, future star. She's proven to be very quick. She was your pole sitter tonight. So that's a good looking car. She's been able to keep it clean. Really, the only mistake she made was making contact there. I think she just got a little spooked, saw her lead evaporate, and kind of panicked, made contact with the Diaz car. They both went over towards the trees. She got the worst end of it. but hopefully her driver coach helps her, because looking back, I really believe she had the pace. Whoa, and speaking of pace, just a little too much getting in there. But I think she had the pace that if Diaz would have got around her there, she would have been able to get back by the end of the race. So as we see her keep working here on Eric.
Yeah, she might be able to get him that time by. I'll take a look at the timing screen. Again, about 2.5 seconds faster for Heather Morgan. So I think these two will have 2 more laps to go potentially. She's right on the bumper in the draft as they come towards it's a 90-degree right-hander is the next turn. Heather Morgan waits in line. It's a very early turn in for both of them. Heather with the better run. Oh, Eric moves to the inside and I think maybe lets her through. He sees he doesn't want to be involved with anything with this much left to go in the race.
Spotters are letting me know that Salmeron almost did the trip into the woods automatically back to the pits, was able to steer it back down, maintain position. So he has such a big lead over Steffi. But we're so close to the end here. We're on our final lap with our leader, Daniel Diaz. Will he? No, he was not giving up much there into the tricky turn. I think that's the preferred line through the first bit there, is to kind of brake hard, push it out to the left, and then swing in late. But there he is, Daniel Diaz, coming down that main straight one last time, racing out of New York. Daniel Diaz 8, your winner. Let's go back. Nicholas Salmeron. Nicholas Salmeron coming down the front stretch here. Out of Texas, Nicholas Salmeron, your second place runner tonight. And all the way back in third position, our leader, Daniel Diaz, now trying to pass the 2-car on his in lap for some reason. The 2-car just letting him go because he has nothing to race for. Can't get lapped now. I don't think. Right?
What is going on? Jay Steffi still hasn't crossed the line after the finish, I believe.
Yeah.
Bizarre, but Jay Steffi will make it through. It's sort of a Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc. van looking paint job there for Daniel Diaz. You see Eric Reichert, I think, throw the car around. Indeed, Jay Steffi takes the finish line and Daniel Diaz pulls into the pit lane after a win, but a rather weird in-lap.
Yeah, and sorry, folks, we did miss it, but Heather Morgan was able to get that position there at the end of the race. So congratulations to our winner, Daniel Diaz. Glad to see, even though it was tough racing there on the last lap +1, I don't think they made any contact. I think he just wanted to assert a little dominance over our third place runner. But Daniel Diaz, our winner. Second place, Nicholas Salmeron and Jay Steffi rounding out the podium. So any final thoughts on tonight's race?
Again, we see play it clean and do well. Daniel Diaz and Nicholas Salmeron, our only cars to not need to take a pit stop for repairs in this 15-minute race. But then we saw Jay Steffi taking that repair early and then running a clean race from there, still getting a podium. So definitely a battle for the ages between this track and talent.
Yep, and I hope everyone at home enjoyed the great battles we saw on the screen. I want to thank David for working the booth with me, and Mr. Derby for working all the cameras, and thank all of you for watching, and I hope you will join us next week on Bottom Split Theater. See you then. Mahalo.
Bye now.